Rob, let's get right into it. Lakers last night, arguably their best win of the year.
Yeah, to come back against Utah.
Yep.
I mean, they
Good
were underdogs in that game, Chris, by a number of points.
And
they came back.
halftime, Rob, because I got to get up early and do the TV show first things first. So at halftime, I'm thinking, okay, if it's a blowout at the end of 3, I'm just gonna go to bed. I don't need to see the rest. And then they started coming back. And LeBron, I thought that was old school LeBron. Like we've talked about it, Rob, how his numbers are as great as ever, but he's not having the same impact. But last night, he dominated the game, at least down the stretch. The fourth quarter had that impact. And I thought it was one of the best performances of the year by any player because he just controlled the game. But even as great as LeBron was, Rob, that's not the story. The story of last night was that yet again, Anthony Davis gets hurt. He just got back from a knee injury. And now after, 7 games back or whatever it is, he's hurt again. And Rob, when I heard that the x-rays on his ankle were negative, I was shocked. I was pleasantly shocked. I mean, no, you don't want the guy to be seriously hurt, anybody. But the way he went down, I watched it once, and that was all I could take when I watched his ankle injury. And the way he was writhing in pain, I mean, it looked like that it maybe broke the lower portion of his leg.
Right.
And so to hear that it's just a sprain, he'll be reevaluated in a couple of weeks. I mean, I think he'll be out probably a month or so.
Yeah, they said minimum 2 weeks, Chris, but it could be, like you said, a month.
I mean, think about it. LeBron's been out a long time with an ankle, not now, but, in the past with ankle injuries. You think AD's really coming back in 2 weeks? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I'm with you. The history says no.
Right. So that's the lead story, Rob. And I mean, I guess at this point, you just got to wonder, will the Lakers ever be healthy? Look, they won without AD last night. Their record is not great with AD, but you're fooling yourself if you think that they can do anything of note in the playoffs without Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Even at a subpar Anthony Davis,
Anthony Davis has to be a part of the equation. Otherwise, you're not going to figure it out, Chris, okay? It's just not going to happen. You're not going to win consistently to make any kind of playoff push, playoff move, or anything going on.
Right.
But the bigger question and the bigger thing to me is if I'm the Lakers now, it's pretty obvious. If I can get this guy healthy, Chris, have him playing some good basketball, I would let it be known to other executives and teams that he's available. That I would be willing to step off of Anthony Davis and move forward with somebody else because at some point LeBron's not going to be here. He was supposed to be the heir apparent of the franchise. You can't count on him, Chris. Whether it's his fault or not, and it's not. He's not trying to get injured.
Right.
He's not trying not to play. This is what's happened. But you can't have an organization like this, and the only year he was able to stay healthy was when they were off, Chris, for 4 months during the pandemic, during the height of the pandemic. That's when he came out and played well in the bubble, and they won a championship.
I don't disagree with you, Rob, on what you said. Like, if I'm the Lakers, I am open to trading Anthony Davis this summer. Here's the issue, though. He's still good enough, even though we know the last 2 years, he hasn't been, even when he's been healthy, he hasn't been the player we expected him to be, and that he was even a few years ago when they won the championship. But even with that, Rob, he's a very good defensive player, and he still gives me 23 to 25 points and 10 rebounds a night. And I want a superstar back, or at the very least, 2 perennial stars. So I'm not just trading him for, 3 or 4 good players.
I didn't say I agree. No, I understand that point. I'm with you. I mean, you got to get something for him, and that's why I'm saying let him get healthy, let him start playing. You know what I mean? Where he's playing up to his potential. Not try to trade him tomorrow while he's injured.
Right.
Not that anybody would take him. But I'm saying, let him play well, and then when you think that he's got it back,
higher.
Yeah, he got his groove back, Chris. That's when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's traded. That's when I would trade.
Let's go through some names. Obviously, you're not getting Joel Embiid. You're not getting Giannis. Would you do him for Karl Anthony Towns?
Potentially, because there would be something else with that. Him, right? Karl
There
Anthony
was a
Towns
time when Towns was right there with AD.
Yeah, but I would.
He's not as good. He doesn't. We talk about
him.
AD. Oh, I take him in something else, maybe.
Something else, though. I need something else to make me feel good on that trade.
Right. When he's been the number one guy, it hasn't been good. And I guess he's still the number one guy in Minnesota.
They're playing better, but
but I think as much as he is their best overall player and technically the number one guy, I think that young boy, Anthony Edwards, is a big reason why
got gypped
winning.
out of the
Rookie of the Year last
year.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he got the dog in him. And I think even though Cat's better at this moment, I think he's really his personality, his aggressiveness, that's what's gotten them over the hump and at least winning to some degree. Rob, somebody who works in the league, works with a lot of players, we talked after the deadline. He said he would have done Anthony Davis for Bam Adebayo. I disagree.
I wouldn't make that either.
Now, I would do him for Bam and Jimmy Butler.
Right. It's got to be of that ilk. Yes,
I would do that. And Pat Riley might look, if Miami goes out in the second round this year, Pat Riley might do that. Right? AD is better than Jimmy Butler and Adebayo. And we know Riley likes stars.
Right.
He might do that. My point is this, Rob. I'm with you on I'd be open to trading AD, but I don't think there's a ton of moves out there that I would make for just because I got to get something back.
I get it, but I'm saying I would be open for the conversation.
Absolutely.
A couple years ago, Chris, after they won the bubble championship, no, I'm good.
Oh, no.
Because we thought the next year Anthony Davis was going to go out and play like the MVP of the league. I thought, he's got a championship in his back pocket. He like all the pressure's off. He's not going to be one of these great players who never won. It's done. Now I could just go out and play and stack some MVPs, All-Star appearances, put my numbers.
Build up my legacy, right?
Yes, build up my legacy from there. And who knows? You might have been able to squeeze another 1 or 2 with LeBron, and then you're off and rolling, Chris. That's where he should have been.
That's where he should have been. You're right.
Yes.
I agree. Would you do him for Dame?
No.
I wouldn't either.
I don't think
I'm giving up a big for a small who's great but can't defend.
No, I can't do
Dame wasn't
that.
having a good year this year either. 100%. By his standards.
No.
So
I couldn't do that one.
it had to be more of a package. I got to get a big or something with Dame, but